I now invite Dr. Pippa Grange to deliver the occasional address. Dr. Grange is the General Manager of Culture and Leadership within the AFL Players Association. She serves on the Ladder Program Board, an initiative to address youth homelessness in Australia, the Advisory Board for Sport for the Australian Drug Foundation, and is a member of the APS Melbourne branch. Dr. Grange is a graduate of VU from 2005 with a doctorate in applied psychology, and she continues to contribute to research and academic publication and is a Fairfax Fellow with the St James Ethics Centre, a program designed to build the capacity of participants for ethical deliberation in their leadership. Please welcome Dr. Pippa Grange.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I first say my great congratulations to everybody here today. I think it's wonderful that you are taking this moment to experience your graduation. And I particularly want to say, before I start on any reflections on my journey, how impressed I am with the ladies who got down the stairs with heels on. Very impressive. I've been invited here today to speak to you a little bit about my journey, in particular around education and learning, and also the people who've inspired me along the way. So I'll start with telling you a little bit about what I do today and how I got to be doing that. I was a graduate in a Doctor of Psychology from Victoria University. I graduated in 2006, and the program, the Doctor of Psychology here, is very experiential, lots of internship hours required, as well as your thesis and the modules that you need to go through to be prepared to practice in the real world. And through the experience of internships, I had the opportunity to make a lot of connections within the sport community. So I did my time moving witches' hats at softball fields out 50k from home, and standing on the poolside of many pools around Melbourne, talking to parents about their experiences of sport. And through that, sports psychology is quite a small world, and through that I had the opportunity to get involved with football. So in those very early days, I worked with an organisation called CD Sports, who had what was colloquially referred to as the footy phone. So on the weekends I would have an emergency 24-hour line for footballers who got themselves into trouble to give me a ring and see what we could do to assist with that, which was, it did ring once in the time that I was looking after that, which almost gave me a heart attack. But we moved on from there, and in 2005, the AFL Players Association had decided to bring their help services in-house. So they developed what we now call the Player Development Program, which is really about a player's journey from draft at age 18, sometimes 17, right the way through to leaving the game and beyond as past players and part of an alumni with the game. That program has, one of the streams of that program is psychology services, and in 2005, before I actually graduated, I was approached by the Players Association to come and head up the psych services, which was really fortuitous for me. I didn't have to think too much about what happened after graduation. I just grabbed that with both hands and began a journey in a new field that was new to football as well as new to me, and it's been an amazing challenge. So for 4 years I managed the psychology services with a national team, and we provided off-field services to players and their families. So the distinction being not the kind of work that assists a player to optimise their potential on the field in terms of what it is to increase performance, but actually the stuff of life. So the things that players and their families would come to see us or me about would be the things that anybody would go see a psychologist about. So as part of that role, there were lots of challenges, as you can imagine, and 4 years in, we decided that we might like to continue with that, but expand so that we did more work on the environment that footballers operate in and the professionalisation of the game. So my role changed, and I stepped up to be General Manager of Culture and Leadership. So that's a lot more about preventative initiatives and engagement with the community. Principally, I look after responsible use of alcohol, respect and responsibility towards women, social inclusion and diversity. And I would say that the crux of the job is getting the community in football to engage better, so that it's not always just through the prism of the media particularly. So that provides me with lots of challenges. I absolutely love the job, and there are days, no doubt, where I wake up and just about choke on my cornflakes with a front page in a Herald Sun, for example. And you find yourself very much in the thick of it from time to time, which is, we have a great example of that right now with VU's affiliate in the Western Bulldogs. But I wanted to just, there's a couple of reflections I wanted to share with you today about that journey for me. And the first one of those is how many people have noted to me along that 5-year journey within football, but wow, you don't really fit. You're a POM, you're a woman, you've never played football, and you didn't grow up in Victoria. So, what really do you have to offer in that respect? And there were implicit challenges also in football being an environment that was highly normed in terms of sort of masculine, old-fashioned masculine cultures that certainly didn't ask for help, and it was toughen up, princess, if you had a problem. So we had some work to do in encouraging people to seek help, and that performance was a holistic thing, and it wasn't just about what happened on the field, it was about your experience as a human being and how you travelled through your sport. So my reflection is about how I have handled that, and I think it's really important for anybody embarking on or continuing in their career to remember that you teach people how to treat you. So, okay, initially from the outside it looks like I don't fit in that environment, but it's actually been an environment that has embraced me and that I have flourished in, and I think that's because you teach people how to treat you. So when you are able to interact respectfully, when you genuinely are open and warm to your audience, whether that's the football players, whether that's the coaches, whether that's the administration of the game or the media, then you're able to encourage a relationship that is not based in old-fashioned norms and habits. And I would encourage each of you today, as you move forward into your futures, to think about how you teach people how to treat you. The second thing I'd like to reflect on is when I think about learning, to me, it's so much more than education. Education gives you the ability to learn, and when you learn, you have the ability to start to understand. And I think that for me, the people whom I have learnt from have been so important, and they haven't all come from education. Some of my earliest lessons were from my mum, who, with sometimes raised eyebrows and chastising and frowns and sometimes encouragement and love, has taught me resilience, and that has been implicitly important in just about everything I've ever taken on and will continue to be so. And then there was, I think back to teachers, and the first teacher that inspired me was 4'11" worth of giant in my mind, Mrs. Regis, age 5, who stayed behind at school and taught Penny Smith and I French verbs, which we thought was extremely glamorous at the time. And Mrs. Regis taught me about dreams, and she taught me that